Hey besties, I am back and welcome to today, okay? And just so everyone knows, I got a little fidget toy so I won't be slamming my hands on the desks and like talking crazy with my hands. I might still talk crazy with my hands because that's what I do, okay? But y'all strap in today because we're talking about Laci Peterson, okay? If you know, you know. I'm gonna tell you some now. Y'all, this case makes me so angry, okay? So angry. So, y'all, just sit back, relax, get your drinks, get your snacks, and let's hate on this person together, okay? Alright. Got my little handy dandy notebook, okay? And I got my timeline and everything, and y'all, this is crazy. Crazy. You can also watch a documentary on it on Netflix. It's the Laci Peterson documentary. It's really good. A lot of good information and stuff on there. As a mom of like 2 kids, this hit different, like real different, okay? And like I said before, I don't go back to whenever they were born and when they're growing up in childhood and stuff. It's beautiful. It's amazing. I just personally want to get right to the point because that's just the person that I am. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to get right to the point with the videos. So we're just going to start on the very day it happened and everything, okay? Now, first of all, she is adorable, okay? She's adorable. She has a beautiful smile, okay? So, she went missing on December 24th, 2002. Literally Christmas Eve. Like, how sick and twisted, and it makes me very angry. Okay, and I'm gonna start cussing a lot later in the video, okay? I'm gonna try and keep it tame for right now, but it's coming. It's coming. Okay, so basically she went missing Christmas Eve, okay? And now the story is fishy, okay? The story is, like, her neighbor, saw their dog. I think the dog's name is Mackenzie. That's my chair popping and being all crazy. She saw the dog outside with the leash still on it and everything. And I was like, okay. So then she didn't think anything of it, so she just kind of like put the dog in the backyard. And I was like, okay, that's what we would all do, whatever. So then her husband, Scott, comes home. Okay? Scott comes home. And he ends up calling the police after a little while. But here's the fishy thing, okay? He gets home. Well, he says he's been fishing all day and he gets home. Tell me right now, he gets home. His wife's car is in the driveway. Her purse is hanging up by the door. I think her phone is still there. Her phone, her wallet, everything is still there. Everything is there, okay? But she's not. She's not there. Now, she did say she was going on a walk. Okay, so why is her phone there? Not about you, but women kind of take their purses everywhere. So, like, if her purse is home and you don't see her nowhere and the dog is in the backyard, that's a little suspicious, don't you think? So what does he do? Does he immediately call the police? No. No, he does not. This man, this boy, we should call him, eats a slice of pizza and then takes a shower and then decides to call the police. I don't know about you, but that's real sus. Okay? You come home to find out that your wife is missing. You decide to eat pizza, take a shower, and then you call the police. That's weird. I don't know. That just didn't sit right with me. That was weird. Okay? Weird. So, immediately, when the detectives and the police and everybody get there, when the detective introduces himself, it's manners to say, like, yes, sir, no, sir. Or be like, okay. Like, I guess you would call... I'm not in this situation. So, like, but I think you would call people respectfully, But, like, the detective mentioned in the documentary that he was calling me by my first name, which was, like, really weird. So when the detectives got there and they wanted to look inside the house and everything, Scott was like, yeah, that's cool, come on in, I'll show you everything, everything's cool. But then, like, the detective said it was really weird that he was like, yeah, like, look, her purse is right here. Like, seriously, like, her purse is here and everything. He, like, went right there and he was like, look, like, her purse is here. Which they thought that was weird, too, which, I mean, yeah, it's weird. But then again, like, thinking about it, I can see how, like, maybe it wasn't weird for him. I don't know. Just telling someone, hey, look. It's right here. Her stuff is right here. Like, hello. Maybe it's pointing out the obvious. I don't know. I feel like it's weird. I don't like the guy. I already had a bad feeling about it because who goes missing? Just wait. Wait till I tell you what we got. So, he tells the police that day, he woke up at 9 a.m. and they were watching some, like, Martha Stewart show, okay, about meringue or whatever. I can't watch cooking shows because I get hungry and then I want to try and make the cooking on the cooking show and I can't ever do it right, so then I just get all pissed off. But they were watching some Martha Stewart, okay, and then eventually he goes fishing, okay? He goes fishing and he, like, specifically tells the detectives, like, I use this big silver hook, big silver lure or whatever, and then literally the detectives found that same exact lure still in the box, in his tackle box. So, like, it was still in the packaging, so there was no way he used it. Like, it was in, like, a plastic with cardboard in it. Like, he didn't use it. So he lied about that. Oh, he also did a load of laundry when he got home. Just his clothes that he was wearing that exact moment. That's weird, too. He didn't put her clothes in there. He didn't put, like, a load of dirty clothes in there. No, he put just the t-shirt, the pants, the socks, and the underwear of what he was wearing that day. And that's what he did. That's weird. That right there would alarm bells, okay? That is really, really weird and dumb. He's an idiot. I don't like him. You'll see why. So, the detectives, start interviewing, like, the neighbors or whatever, and asking them if they saw anything and stuff, whatever. Well, one of the neighbors that they went up to was like, yeah, Scott came up to us and was asking us questions or whatever, but he told us, that he was golfing this morning, and the detectives were like, whoa, what? He told you what? And the neighbor was like, yeah, he told me he went golfing this morning, and they both looked at each other and they were like, oh, what is that? What is that? Because he told us he was fishing. He can't even keep his story straight, okay? Idiot. So then they find out he has a little warehouse, okay? And they take him to it and he has a boat. But guess what? Nobody fucking knew he had a boat. His family didn't know he had a boat. Laci's family didn't have a boat. Laci probably didn't know he had a boat. No friends knew he had. No one knew this dude had a boat. That right there, done deal for me. As soon as I heard that, I was like, nope. He did it. He did it. He knows what's going on. That's weird. So another thing that I noticed is, like, when they were interviewing Scott, which you can look it up on YouTube, you can look up the interview on YouTube. When they were interviewing Scott, he is so calm. Like, he doesn't look like someone whose wife is missing. He's not panicked. He's not frustrated. He's not angry. He's not even worried. This dude is just calm as a chill as cucumber. Just answering questions, just talking back and forth like we're talking right now. I'm sorry, but if my 8-month pregnant wife is missing, that's my wife and child is missing. What do you mean? What do you mean he's not worried? What do you mean he's just calm? You should be distraught. You should be upset. You should be everything under the sun, okay? That is your pregnant wife, your child. It was going to be a boy, so that's his son, okay? Weird. So eventually it got leaked, okay, that Scott was fishing whenever Laci was missing or went missing. And when it got leaked, I don't know how it got leaked, but it got leaked. So basically, when the chief of police had his conference with, like, Laci's family and Scott's family and, all kinds of stuff, people were like asking questions about it, like, oh, so I heard he was going fishing, I heard he wasn't even there, blah blah blah. And the chief of police was like, we're not going to answer those questions right now. But like, it got so overwhelming with people asking like those questions that Scott just fucking walked out. He just fucking walks out the press conference. He just just gone. That's still sus. Why are you walking out? That makes no sense. Like, people have now like seen you as suspicious, kind of, not really, but kind of, and they're like, oh, he was fishing when she was gone and when she was taken or whatever, and he's just like, yeah, no, you don't do that. That is your wife and son. You stand up there, even though it's, people are hitting, like, hey, why were you fishing? You just take a stand for your wife and child. But he didn't. He walked out like a little bitch, because that's what he is, okay? And another weird thing, this makes me so angry, and this also was like a done deal. Like, I was like, don't need no more proof, boom, boom, facts, okay? He would not engage with the media. He would not talk to the media. He wouldn't be like, my wife is gone, can you please bring her back, or what? No, he would not talk to media, period. Point blank, not a word. That's weird. That is how you get, like, stuff known. That's how you talk to people. Like, hey, make this worldwide so everyone knows that, like, my wife is missing, my wife and child. But no, he wouldn't even do it. That is so weird to me. That makes me very, like, boom, we got you. See, idiot. But it gets better. You just wait. So in the interview with the detectives, if you watch on YouTube, you know what I'm talking about, he basically was like, hey, the detective was like, hey, will you take a polygraph test, just to, like, rule you out? Just take one tomorrow? And he was like, yeah, I'll take a polygraph test tomorrow, why not? And then tomorrow comes, and apparently he talked to his father, and his father was like, no, you don't need to do a polygraph test. He was like, get yourself a lawyer. So guess what? When they asked him to come in for the polygraph test, he said, my dad and a lawyer said that I shouldn't do that, so I'm not going to do that. Excuse me. I know that polygraph tests, aren't reliable in court and whatever, but, like, what do you think the public's going to say when they find out that you don't want to take a polygraph test to say that you don't know anything about your missing wife? Suspicious, okay? Guilty. So then it comes out that Scott never wanted to have a kid in the first place. He didn't want to have no baby. But see, what had happened was he didn't want to have a child. And then I guess him and Laci were fighting about that, and all of a sudden, guess what? He decides he wants to have a baby. And Laci's mom was like, no, I feel like that was weird. I feel like something strange was going on that just didn't sit right with me. And honestly, I get it. I get it. How are you going to say you don't want kids for so long, and then all of a sudden you want kids? It's a little sus. It's a little weird. So I totally 100% get where she's coming from that. The detectives come back on the 26th, okay? 2 days after 2 days since she's been missing. And so they search the house on Christmas Eve, the 24th, and they want to do a more thorough search on the 26th. So, like, the cars, the phones, computers, everything. And Scott's like, okay, cool, yeah. And so they hand him a piece of paper, and they're like, hey, can you sign the search warrant? And he goes, I'm not going to sign anything. Not going to sign anything without my lawyer. Guilty. Guilty, plain and simple. Idiot. If you have nothing to hide, then what's the goddamn problem? Let them search your fucking house. Let them search whatever you need to. Why are you drawing shit out? That's a red flag. That's weird. That is weird, dude. Okay. Here's where shit's gonna get weird, okay? Okay. When they get the search hit, like when they get the warrant and everything, and they like get the history, like search history and everything, Scott's online search history for December 8th was the bay tides and the wind gusts and stuff for the bay on the 8th. On the 9th, literally the next day, the 9th of December, he buys the boat. See where I'm going here? He then buys a fishing license on December 20th. So he rushed all of this in a month. And then, after all this happens, guess what? It turns out that Scott's mistress comes forward. Only a matter of time, am I right? Just a matter of time. But I will give her props, because she said in the documentary, she said that she is not a mistress. And the definition of a mistress is that someone who willingly, knows that the person that they want to, they're with is married. And she had no clue that he was married. This man was so slick, okay? I'm telling you. He didn't, she didn't know he was married, okay? She didn't know anything. She was in a whole different town. She didn't know anything. And this man was so slick. Let me tell you something. Okay? But here's where it gets fucking weird. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Okay? Scott Peterson, okay, ends up telling her that he's separated from his wife or whatever. But then he ends up telling her that he lost his wife. He tells this her name was Amber Fry. She's beautiful. He tells Amber, okay, that he lost his wife. This man told this woman on December 9th that he lost his wife. His wife doesn't go missing until December 24th. But he told his mistress. He told okay, I'm not going to call her mistress, disrespect to her. He told his side piece, which is what it was, that he lost his wife. You know what else is really fucked up? Amber had a daughter. And Scott was playful with her daughter. He was loving on her daughter. He was basically treating her like his own. And whenever she brought up kids, he said, no, she's enough for me. Got a whole ass pregnant wife at home. Guilty. Freaking idiot. Coward. Whatever you want to call him. I mean, worst of the worst. Okay? So she actually brought it upon herself to contact the police. She called the police, was like, hey, I'm dating Scott Peterson. I'm his girlfriend. So they talked to her and they were like, do you think that you would be okay with basically recording your conversations and playing along, not really letting him know that you told us that you're his girlfriend? And she was like, yeah, she agreed to it. She was cool with it. And it's crazy. You can listen to the recordings on YouTube. It is crazy. It will literally make you go, he's guilty. He's guilty. Okay? Got a doubt. It's crazy. He said that it was his first holiday without his wife. And then he calls her on New Year's Eve and he's like, oh, I'm in Paris and I'm watching these, fireworks going off in the Eiffel Tower and it's beautiful. Oh my God, I wish you were here with me. I love you. You know where he was? He was at a candlelight vigil for his wife. Hello. He deserves to be under the jail. You know what? No. Cut this man up into little pieces and feed him to the rats under the jail. Okay? He deserves worse than that. Let him become rat shit, okay? Another thing that happened was there was a burglary. It was like this is like the Peterson's house. This is the house across from it. Okay, it was one over. And that house got burglarized. And they say it was either on the 24th, between the 24th and 26th. They came home the 26th at a certain time. And people were like, oh, well, these two burglars must, they must have, Laci must have saw something and they, kidnapped her or something or whatever. And, like, to show you how freaked out these dudes were to, like, get involved with that, they came forward themselves. They're like, look, we burglarized the house. It was us. We had nothing to do with that pregnant lady going missing. They were like, no, I'll go down for the robbery. I ain't going down for kidnapping or nothing else, okay? Like, So, they came forward and they were like, no. So the police were like, okay, can you take a polygraph test? And they were like, yeah, bring it on, give it to me. And guess what? They passed, okay? They passed with flying colors. But you're telling me, piece of shit over here don't want to take no test. Guilty. So, Laci's friends actually hosted a holiday, a Christmas party. And, Scott said that he couldn't go with her. He was going out of town or whatever. Guess what this motherfucker was doing? When Laci was at the party by herself, he was at a Christmas party with Amber. Took a picture and everything. So, Amber gives the detectives that picture. Whenever he comes back in to do another interview, they show him the picture and they're like, so you want to explain this? And he was like cocky about it. He was like, you don't think that's me, do you? Like, that's not me. Come on now. Dude. Why do people think detectives are fucking dumb? Why do they think they're dumb? They're not. They've been doing their jobs for how many years? I'm pretty sure they wouldn't show you the picture if they didn't know that was you and have proof it was you. So then the police decide to search the bay because, that's the only lead they really have. He went fishing on the bay. He went fishing that morning at the bay, and then his search history or whatever. So they're like, we're just going to search the bay. And they didn't find anything. But they did have a tracker on his car, like on his truck. And they saw him, I think it was 4 or 5 separate times throughout the day of them searching. He would just pull up, look around, then leave. And the detective said that he really thought what was going on was just to see how, if they were searching in the right spot. That's what he said. He said if, he'd pull up, we'd be in a different spot, and if it wasn't, it wasn't the right spot, so he just left. So, that seems real plausible to me. So, here's another thing that's real sus. Are you ready? Besties? Are you ready? So, they have, this software that, will tell you if there's, a blob or something in the water, and it'll let you know. And they found something, okay? They found something. And, it was going off, whatever. So, everyone, they tell people, hey, we see something here. We don't know if it's a body. We don't know what it is. We're going to look. They send a diver down there. And it's just an anchor. It turns out to be just an old ship anchor, okay, which was great. And so Scott's mom calls Scott to tell him that, and it's a voicemail. And since his phone is tapped, they can hear it. And she's like, Scott, I just wanted to call and let you know that it wasn't a body they found in the lake. It wasn't Laci. It was an anchor. And you hear him go, whew. Kind of like he's relieved that they didn't find her or something. Or whew, it was a close one. Guilty. Here's where Scott becomes an even more dumbass, okay? A more idiot, a more whatever you want to call it, okay? Fucking, he makes me so mad. Y'all don't understand. I want to call him so many names, but I would just, it won't be allowed on here, so I'm just not going to say anything. This low-down dirty dog goes on Diane Sawyer. He now decides to go on a media tour, okay? And he goes on Diane Sawyer and he's answering all these questions or whatever. He doesn't fucking cry at all. At all. Okay, first of all. Secondly, he tells Diane Sawyer that he told the police. He tells two things. He tells Diane Sawyer that he told the police about his affair with Amber on Christmas Eve when they had an interview. Bitch, no the fuck you didn't. No the fuck you didn't. And then he goes to say that he told Laci about the affair. And Diane Sawyer was like, okay, and how do you think she felt? Was she upset? Was she angry? And he was like, no, she was pretty okay with it, basically. Motherfucker, you told me an 8-month-old pregnant woman is not upset that her husband, the father of her child, is having an affair? How dumb do you think we are, dude? How dumb are you? Seriously. Fucking idiot. And then he was like, oh, I can't go into the baby's room anymore. I just can't. It just breaks my heart. I can't. But no tears come out. But guess what? Guess what? He was lying because guess what? The baby's room was turned into a storage room. Do I have to say it? Guilty. Okay. Here's where it gets sad. April 13th, a male fetus washed up on the beach area, and then the next day a female torso was found on the beach. So April 13th a baby washed up, and then on April 14th is when Laci washed up on the beach. And that's just really sad. That's just sad that a pregnant woman, me being a mother, I was pregnant, I had kids, and it's just, they say it was strangulation. I just really hope it was quick and that she didn't suffer, because whatever she feels, the baby's gonna feel, and that's another heartbreaking thing to have to live with, Man. So in his first interview, Scott tells police that he went fishing that day, of course, but where he went fishing was near Brooks Island, okay? And Connor's body and Laci's body washed up not far from Brooks Island, like literally really close to Brooks Island, which is another suspicious thing, okay? And like he DIY'd his anchor, okay? And they asked him, how many did you make? And he said just one. But there was proof that he made more than one. How many, we don't know, but there was proof that he made more than one. So he could be lying, like he could have made one for Laci. We don't know. So after Laci and Connor's bodies wash up, the police want to keep a closer eye on Scott because they're like, okay, we cannot state to the media this is who these, it's Connor and Laci. They have to like get DNA and like prove that it's them first. So they have to keep a close eye on Scott. Well, Scott's tracker for his truck was going off, so they were following the truck. It turns out Scott wasn't driving the truck. A friend of Scott's was. So he was in a different car, but they ended up finding out where he was, and they were following him, and he was getting really close to the Mexican border. Like, they were like, holy crap, he's going to make a run for it. So they were following him for a good 3 to 4 hours, and he was trying his fucking hardest, y'all. He was trying to lose. He knew he was getting followed. He tried to say that it was the media. He was the media, so I was running from the media. No, he was running from cops, okay? Let's be real. But once he finally pulls over, this dude, y'all, okay, this man, this boy, this coward, this dog shit, okay, he dyed his hair, he bleached his hair, so it was like an orange blonde, okay, his goatee was like an orange blonde, okay, he had $15,000 cash in a bag. He had different credit cards for him and his family, like family named credit cards, okay? He had knives, he had rope, he had camping gear. This dude was running. I 100% believe he was running. He was about to get gone, okay? Like, thank God they decided to pull him over, because if they didn't, I promise you he would not have been caught. Maybe he would have, but he was gonna run. Also, they found like his brother's ID in the center console, and they said that he got like a haircut and everything to look just like his fucking brother. Which, one, that's fucking weird, and two, why is your brother okay with that? Like, is he okay with that? Did he know? If he knows, why was he okay with that? Accomplices, okay? You know, it's like if you hide a fugitive, like you're guilty too. So you're helping your brother. That should make you guilty. So the two detectives, arrest him, and they're driving him back to Modesto or whatever. And on the way home or on the way back, it's like a 5 to 6 hour drive, I think it said, yeah. And they get a call, and it has been confirmed that it was Connor and Laci. It's fully confirmed by DNA now. So the detectives looked back at him and was like, hey, the bodies that we found were Connor and Laci. And the detective said that he put his head down, one tear came down, and he was quiet. Well, at some point, they stopped to get gas and to get something to eat. And Scott asked them, what are we going to get to eat? And he was like, I don't know, maybe Whataburger or something. And this dude just tells him what he wants to eat. Tells him his order. And it's like, you didn't say anything when you just found out your 8-month, basically your wife and your son are dead. But you're going to give a whole order what you want to eat. Guilty. So when the detectives finally got back to Modesto, it was like late at night. Like, it was in the middle of the night. But people lined the streets of the police department. They cheered and clapped whenever they brought Scott into the police building. That just shows you right there that everybody right there, everybody knew it was Scott. Come on now, really? What else do you need? So, because everyone in Modesto had heard about this case, they actually had to pick jurors and stuff. They had to go out of town, and they went to, what's it called? They went to San Mateo County. I hope I'm saying that right. If I'm not, I'm sorry. They had to go there. But even if they went there, you would think this would be worldwide, right? You would think that the whole state of California heard about this case. Maybe not, but I would think it was a big case. I would think so. But that's where, they had the case. And the lawyer that represented Scott was a huge lawyer. I think they said it was one of the lawyers that did O.J. Simpson's case. I think, I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong about that, but they were actually doing a really good job with his stuff. I don't think that even in the documentary, they said the prosecutors of San Mateo County, they were not prepared for a case of this magnitude. They just weren't. And one of the things they brought up was there was no Martha Stewart show who brought up lemon meringue on December 24th, and fucking Scott's attorney pulled up the episode, and sure enough, right there, boom, there you go. So the jurors were starting to be I don't know, and it's kind of hard if you think about it. Why would this dude murder his wife? People were not seeing it. But guess who changed the game? Amber Fry. As soon as she got up there and started talking, and as soon as they played the recordings, it was over with. Everybody knew. Everybody right there was nope, guilty. And guess what? he was convicted guilty. Yes, sir. Yay! Now, they did vote for the death penalty, and that was a whole nother trial. And I think they did vote for the death penalty for that too. And even the guy in the jury said, you know, like, you don't really feel good about doing that regardless, because yeah, you know, he's guilty, but like, now you have to decide whether to sentence him to life in prison or sentence him to death. My thing is, think about the baby. Think about the 8-month-old baby, okay? I said in my notes. Scott's family, to this day, thinks that he did not kill her. I hate to break it to you, and I understand because, well, I don't understand because I have a son, and I cannot fathom him growing up to hurting somebody like that, so I understand that part of it. But you also have to look at the facts, too. You know what I'm saying? It's really sus that he would look up the bay tides, get a boat, get a fishing license, and then all of a sudden, for the first time, go fishing, and doesn't tell anybody about it. And then you find out that he has a whole nother side person, like a side piece, and he tells her a month before his wife goes missing that he lost his wife, and this is the first holiday without his wife. And then, like, that's really scary. Even if I'm looking at it from the point of view of, like, none of that happened and it was just a coinkydink, like, some things have aligned to just make it seem coincidental. But I'm sorry. I wholeheartedly believe that this dog shit, okay, that this pile of dog vomit, vermin, whatever you want to call him, I 100% believed he killed his wife. I think that he didn't want to have a kid. He never wanted to have a kid. And I think that he probably wanted to be with Amber, and he didn't want to pay child support, maybe. Or maybe he just didn't want to be held down. I don't know. But I believe he killed her. And just think about how terrifying that is for Amber, to know that the person that you've been, like, dating for however long, the person you've been intimate with, who you've let around your child, is a murderer? No. Under the jail. You know what? Worse than that. He deserves to be cut up and fed to the rats under the jail so he can become rat shit. Okay? That's my thoughts on this. But I would love to know your thoughts down below. So tell me what you think of this case. Tell me what theories you have, because this shit was crazy, okay? Also, go check out people who go into more depth about it. Like, it's crazy. Or go watch the documentary on Netflix, because it's actually really good. But I will see you guys in the next video. I love you so much. Bye.